Hey, great morning, great morning, great morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. It's so good to see you all this morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't have long this morning, so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to come on into the room. Last week, I talked a little bit about September being Suicide Awareness Month, and I also talked about um, grief and loss because grief and loss a lot of times are associated or can be associated with um, suicide awareness or suicide prevention, however you want to say it. But this morning, I wanted to jump on here really quick and I wanted to talk about maybe I should move this over here. I wanted to talk about um, this idea of grief and loss. Um, I said in the previous video that I shared is that grief and loss sometimes it feels like there is a hole in your heart that will never end. There are days where you literally have to remind yourself to breathe, that it can be so overwhelming and feel so detrimental to you. I also talked about how there are five stages of grief. There is anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance, and depression. And David Kessler comes on the scene with the sixth stage, finding meaning. And the reason that I love this book, just in case you guys don't have it, I always keep it handy here because it is one of my go-tos. And this is his book. I hope that he don't get me for like literally advertising it. But if you want to unlock some freedom in your life or find some peace or some kind of solace in your life, that's your go-to. And so here's the deal about finding meaning. Well, first of all, let me back up and say this when it comes to grief and loss. So grief and loss is so personal, it's individualized. No two people will grieve their loss the exact same way. Nobody gets to tell you that you need to get out of bed. They don't get to tell you how long you get to do it. They don't get to tell you how you should feel. They don't get to tell you, they don't get to tell you anything about your grief and your loss. It is personal to you. The favorite one for the church people is that you just need to get back to church. You know, and I guess in one sense that could be true, but you don't get to tell me that. I get to go back to church when I get ready to go to church because it's my grief, it's my loss, and it's personal, right? And so here's the thing about those stages of grief that we talked about. We cycle in and out of those stages with no rhyme, no reason, no time frame, nothing. No, so like if I use depression for an example or bargaining for an example, we don't know when we're coming into bargaining. We don't know how long we're going to stay in bargaining. We don't get to say that it's 5 days or 5 minutes. You know, it's just this cycle that we go in and out of, and we get to do these for a period of time. I always say what is important though is that you be mindful of how long or when you're in that stage. Be mindful of when you're in that stage. And if you put pen to paper, just think about I'm in depression. This is what it looks like. Begin to identify what that looks like for you and ask yourself why. Why am I feeling depressed? Of course, it's because of your loss, right? But why am I feeling this way because of my loss? If I can get to the why, I can get to the core of my depression. It's kind of like a toddler that keeps saying, a 2-year old that keeps saying, why? 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 So we got to be elementary sometimes and continuously ask ourselves why until we get to the core of our problem. Because here's the deal about it, we do know why we do. The answers are within us, right? Those answers, they lay within us. And the why is the core, is the root cause of why we're still in a place. Nonetheless, we cycle in and out of these stages of grief. Nobody gets to tell us how to do it, how long we should stay in them. We don't even know how long we're going to stay into them. David Kessler says, find meaning in your loss. And I love every bit of that. It was the thing that unlocked some of the liberty, the peace, the freedom that I now have as a result of my loss. And so, what he says, the example that he used, and you'll get this, is that um, remember back here years ago, there was a mother who lost her son to a drunk driver, and she ignited this campaign, MADD, MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and that went to the Senate, that went to the Congress, that went to the president. It just went big, and it became a campaign. Now, you and I, we won't always have our meaning on that grand of a scope, but nonetheless, we can find meaning in our loss. And so I think it's real important that we think about who our person was to us and like really lock in on some of those things that they literally shared with us over the course of life that was personal to us, that brought meaning to us, that helped us day to day when they were alive. Guess what? Those same very things will help us in their loss and in their death. So, with that, I want to encourage you just one, to recognize that you are cycling in and out of these stages and that they are personal and individualized to you, and that no one gets to tell you how you should be doing it. It is yours. Right. And sometimes our stages of grief, they go on for years. Years. I have talked to people that 7 years, 10 years out, that says it feels just like it did day one. For you, I want to encourage you to find meaning in that. You know, I think about the loss of my dad and how significant and how impactful his life was to me. One of the main things that he always said to me, he never ceased to say to me, is, daughter, walk worthy of the calling of your vocation in Christ Jesus. And so, what does that mean? To find meaning in that, that means that I am always representing God well. That I am always lifting his name up according to John chapter 12, verse 32. Jesus said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men unto me. And so I just think about that. That is my assignment. That is my mission. That's what brought me meaning, that I'm supposed to walk worthy of my calling. And so I pray that this blesses you. I pray that this makes sense to you. I pray that you understand the 5 stages of grief. And maybe part 3 will be breaking down those stages so that you will know exactly what they look like. So, with that, I have to start work now, and I'm going to end. I was hoping that I would see some people come into the room. Nonetheless, just know that it's here for you. I'm here from you. I am here for you. You can always find me at amatterofaheart.life, www.amatterofalife. Nope, I erased that. www.amatteroftheheart.life. Can I say it again? www.amatterofthelife, amatteroftheheart.life. I'm gonna get it right, y'all. Y'all know it's early and I gotta have this cup of coffee. How y'all like that? Pretty smooth, huh? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. www.amatteroftheheart.life. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.